And here we are. Yep, okay, it's time for episode 3. I'm going to apologize off the bat if I do sound a little bit sick. That's because, well, quite obviously, I am. I mentioned that on Twitter. I'm kind of sick, sore throat and all that. You know, it happens to me like every 4 months. I get like the same thing, like the same sickness. And it's been doing that for years, and like I actually at one point did go to the doctor for it. I was like, hey, why do I keep getting this every 4 months? And they're like, oh, we don't know. There's nothing we can do anything about. You just kind of gotta live with it. Lol, go die. So that's, you know, I'm dealing with that again. It's not fun, but it hasn't been as bad this time around. So I'm at least glad for that. Anyways, today, Today in this episode, we are going to be creating the base of the downtown. Going to be making a bunch of skyscrapers and stuff, putting them all in. And it's not going to have any, like, there's going to be a few tall buildings, but nothing is going to be, like, overly tall, because it's kind of a smaller metro area. I mean, so you'll see, it's kind of really clustered all together, like it doesn't really sprawl out with a whole bunch of super tall buildings. And what I'm doing right here is this is a road that's like a freeway as it goes into downtown, like over the river. But once it's across the river on either side, it's no longer like a freeway, and that's a real thing. That's a thing that exists. It's basically like Highway 54, I think it is, that goes into there. I'm gonna actually pull it up on Google Maps, just confirm that real quick. I like goes for an exit or two once it's. No, it's not 54. That is 32. Yeah, so that's what Mason Street is. So that's, yeah. As soon as it gets like into downtown, it has like an exit off, and then it just goes back into being a regular street. And on the other side, it has, you know, the side that actually I think, no, not the side I'm working on right now, it looks like. Yeah, but on the side that is not the side I built downtown on, it has like 2 exits, and then it morphs down into a regular street again. So it's a thing that's there. And it's kind of neat. It's kind of fun. I like it. I wanted to do it, so I went and I did it. And a lot of this, I don't really necessarily go in and do a whole bunch of detailing on the buildings and on the area, just because I try to keep them close enough together to where the density mostly fills in the detail for itself. And eventually, as you get to like smaller buildings, I do more detail and stuff, but the big buildings are enough of a thing, kind of. But actually, like, not in this video, because later I go back and I did some, when I did the schematics, I did add a little bit of details, like I added a few sky bridges here and there. So you don't get to see that until the cinematics. So I did add a little bit, but I overall didn't change a whole lot off camera. And I decided to use some one-way streets here just because I hardly ever use them enough in the game, and they're definitely a thing that I should utilize in a downtown area, because they are typically found in downtown areas. Not every street is two-way, because that's just how traffic works. So I try to keep, of course, all the tall buildings kind of clustered together right along this main street. Overall, I'm not so sure that I'm happy with the way that the freeway comes down into the entrance of the downtown. I'm not so sure that I'm pleased with it, but I guess it ends up working overall, and if I need to, I can eventually tweak it later. This was just intending to be kind of the basis of downtown and like the actual main core of it. What I do end up doing to substitute for detail in a lot of areas is I put a bunch of like little surface parking lots in, and just because they fit perfectly in tiny little spaces, and I think it works fairly well, and also alleviates future parking issues that might arise I make a couple parking garages. Actually, I think just one. And I try to add in some newer buildings, like on the edge of the downtown. Like, I don't think I placed it yet, but there is a one of those residential buildings by Vlad Alexis that I end up placing down. Ones that are always based on like Russia. I feel like they can really fit anywhere. I do like them, and I decided to use one of them. I actually, when I was recording this, I had cut down on a bunch of skyscrapers and stuff from when I was trying to fix the game before the series started, and I hadn't gone back and gotten more. But since then, I actually did start working. Yeah, here's the building I was talking about. I actually did start working on a fun little on my own kind of project thing, and I did get some bigger buildings for that. So if I want to, I can come back and revisit it with some more buildings and maybe expand upon what I've done. And I might end up doing that. I'm not so sure. But I'm not just gonna completely scrap this because I've already done a whole bunch of stuff to this. And I do kind of like how it turns out for what it is. But I guess we'll see. We'll leave the verdict up to you, really. I hope you enjoy it. I'm thinking next episode will probably be focused on logistics of the city, like making a big kind of road network, which I know you guys might be sick of that, considering how Prez literally just uploaded a big network video of his own. But I think it's kind of necessary, because what I've been doing is I've just been going by the as I build, I've been making the road network, and I'm not so sure that is a great idea, because without the foresight, I don't really know how it's going to work out. So I think I'm going to try building a bunch of the the streets first before I actually build in those areas. And we're going to see how that turns out. It might take a couple tries to get it exactly right. But I think that's what I'm going to be doing next episode. Maybe also some basic like bus lines and transit lines. I need to remember at some point that I will have to do transportation lines, because it's like always a thing that I forget to do. I think, thinking about it, I remembered that at least in this episode that I'm going to do some eventually, because I did place down a bus station at some point. So that is going to happen. And it's really, like, I'll admit that a lot of times when I'm playing City Skylines, I just completely overlook mass transit. And it's like a cardinal sin that I just accept that I do, and I hate it. Ugh. Man, being sick feels pretty bad. Yeah, well, maybe what I can do, actually, now that I have a bunch of other downtown buildings, is I can come back into this area, and I can add some more buildings to help it transition from super tall buildings into shorter ones, because I didn't really have a whole ton of stuff for that, and it did slightly irk me. So I'll see what I can do with this now. And I think what I'm going to end up maybe doing is, like, after I do the whole road network thing, I might just come back to downtown for a couple episodes and start detailing. I don't know. I really don't know where I need to go with the progression of the series, like what I want to work on next after the road. I'm not sure. How about I leave it up to you guys? Let me toss some ideas out there that I know I want to get done. So after the road, we could start working on the mall. Could start working on one of these smaller towns. No, we're not going to do the smaller town, the smaller city. We're not going to do that. So we could work on the mall. We could start working on the football field area, because it's like, just keep in mind, it's like based off Green Bay, and the Packers are like, they have a very historical legacy there. So it's going to be a big area project with lots of extra stuff, if you will. And what else could we work on? I suppose we could start working on the amusement park area, the amusement park and nature preserve. We could maybe start that, but I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. Whatever you think, let me know, and I'll try to get to that. It'll help you see what you want to see, and it'll help me figure out what I need to do. And I think that should overall be a positive for everyone. And a few of these buildings here are actually some of my favorite assets that I really hardly ever use, like that big hotel that I placed down. I think it's from like Salt Lake City or whatever. I really love that asset. I just hardly use it. And the same with the Crescent Center, which is another asset I placed down at some point. I did already place it down, but I don't know if you saw it. I love that asset. I just never ever get to use it. And it's not because I don't have space for it, it's just I forget it exists. And I don't like want to make those mistakes when I do remember, so it's just like, oh well, oh man, poor Crescent Center, forgotten for, you know, another save game. One thing I do like here though, is I managed to squeeze in this, like I have to do a little bit of cheekiness with it, but I managed to squeeze in this kind of, this, City Hall Plaza, I think it is, or yeah, it's like City Hall Plaza or City Park Plaza, and it's a really tight squeeze. I have to use Anarchy to get it to work, but I do like it. I think it's a great looking park asset, and later on I went in and I detailed a lot of those curbs of trees, because it didn't have any, and that kind of bugged me. I'm not gonna lie, that really did bug me. Ooh, we could also start working on the university. If you guys want to see that, we could start doing the university. And again, sorry if I'm like I don't have a whole lot of energy in this right now. It's because I'm sick. So I'm really just trying my best to not be dead. If that makes any sense. And I'm not sure how good of a job I'm doing at that. I was gonna record this voiceover like the other day, but the game did the stupidest thing, and it told me that I need to reinstall or whatever. And it's like, okay, well, if it's needing me to reinstall, then I better back up all my saves and stuff, which I did, but it ended up being completely useless just because it didn't get rid of any of my files for once when I did an install. And so I don't know why I needed to do the install anyway, because I just played it without error the other day. So I wasted a good hour on that. It's not even that like it took an hour to download. It was after that the workshop content took an hour to download, and it's just like, I swear my computer is high or something, and it was pretty baffling. I will not lie on that. One of the things that I've been doing is I've been using a lot of roads that are specifically I forget what the collection is called, but it's like a collection of suburban US roads. And I think they're just overall better than a lot of the vanilla roads, especially if you have, you know, the assets to where you can get the nice intersection lights. Yeah, that's what it is, that come with the roads. Because if you don't have them, then it won't show up and it'll just look stupid and bad. But I do have them, so it looks really good. And that's like the weird flex. Yeah, looking at it from top here, like downtown does look pretty sick. It's got a lot of uniquely shaped buildings, and I feel pretty good about it. I'm dying, and that's a good cue. It's like my body telling me, okay, episode's wrapping up. So I am going to start letting you guys go here. So if you did enjoy this episode, I know it was probably slightly more boring than usual, because I am like, I've got my lower half in a coffin right now, and my upper half is coffin. Yeah, I'm dying. But I did try. I do want to get this out to you guys, you know, as soon as I can, even though it's a little bit late already. I want to make sure that I can get this out. So if you did enjoy this video, I'd greatly appreciate it if you left a like, left some comments, maybe dropped a subscription. And I just gotta say, I've also been really, really impressed with the amount of growth that I've been having since I released episode 2. Since I released episode 2, I've probably gained like 40 subscribers in that short week. It's It's been absolutely nuts, and I'm like over the moon about that. That's huge for me. You know, and if you listen to me talk about it in the last episode, you'll know why growth like this is so huge for me. So without further ado, guys, I will leave you with some cinematics, and I hope you guys enjoy. See you around.